what's your relationship with UFC right now? Like, would you be able to communicate with Dana White?
I mean, I could communicate with anybody. You know, I'll talk to anybody. I don't mind. But
Would he take your call?
I don't think he would take my call, and I don't blame him. I mean, he's got a lot going on, and he's not really into. If I fought 10 times or maybe 5 times, I knocked out 5 people in a row right now, and I'm the best in the world, I think I might get a call.
Sure.
But if I'm not fighting top talent and beating top talent, he runs the UFC, he runs the best fighting organization in the world, and he's not in it for per se money fights. There have been in the past, but I don't think that's his objective. I think his objective is to have the top ranked fighters and see who the best in the world is. And by default, you're probably going to get entertainment out of that.
So you're saying if you fought another MMA fight, it's not going to be UFC yet?
It could be maybe one day. If anything, I'd probably go the PFL route. You know, I already dealt with Bellator. I think they have a new matchmaker, but the last one I dealt with last time wasn't my cup of tea. You know, and the thing with mixed martial arts too is it's a really ugly world, and it's really hard, and it's brutal, and it's tough, and there's no easy, and the only people that make money are the people at top. You know, so you know it's a very difficult world. But I've talked to multiple promotions. I've talked to Bare Knuckle. I've talked to them. And I've told them, you know, we didn't talk fights or numbers or anything, but I said if the money's right and the fight's right, I'm down for whatever, you know?
You'd do a bare knuckle fight?
I would do whatever, dude. I know how to fight. I've been fighting since I was a kid. I fought in the UFC. And there's been other UFC fighters. Now, I'd rather do MMA. That's my bread and butter. You know, and I'd actually rather just do professional wrestling at this point because I stay busier. It's not like fighting where I'd only fight once every 3 months, maybe if I'm lucky,
right.
Or if I even took other fights. And the injuries and other things. But pro wrestling, even if I get injured, I could probably work around it one way or another if I'm good enough, you know? And the signings and everything. And then just that connection to the audience you don't get in MMA. MMA, I would have to do something social media-wise. That would be my connection. And then they'd come see me fight, right? Kind of like the Pauls, kind of like Sugar Sean, kind of like even Conor. Conor's like a megastar on social media. And he was a megastar in the UFC too, but they play together, and people know where he's going to be because he says it, you know? So
I'm a big believer that things happen in our lives for a reason because it leads us to where we're sitting here right now at Knucklehead Bar.
Yeah.
You leaving UFC felt like, from the outside looking in, feels really stupid.
Yeah, well, especially if you fast forward to now because you know the rules and everything. And even when I was with the UFC and I got fired for failing a drug test, marijuana 2 times, and I had a medical license and everything. And now you fast forward, it's off the banned substance list. And funny enough, back then TRT was allowed, and now TRT's on the banned substance list. And that's all I was saying. Then I go, hey, you're allowing fighters to use steroids and painkillers prescribed by doctors, but you're not allowing me to use medical marijuana because it's a performance-enhancing drug, and I'm super dangerous, you know?
Yeah.
So that was my argument then. And even the athletic, I think it was Mark Ratner, we talked just whispers, and he was like, you're 100% right. You know, but it took 10 years?
Yeah.
But that's just kind of how it is. So it's stupid, but at the same time, I feel like being a victim of prohibition also skyrocketed my stardom in a way. Because even when I was in the UFC, I wasn't a household name or that well known. But then when I got fired for smoking weed, and Dana White put me on blast and called me a loser and this, that, go make 6 figures somewhere else smoking weed, this, that. Well, now all of his fighters are doing that, right? And now I'm doing that easily, and I've been doing it for a decade now.